Hello and welcome to another Pie and Smith production where it is day 6 of the PDC World Darts Championships. We're going to have a quick look at yesterday's action that took place on Saturday, and then we're a little bit later today, so it's going to be a quick run through Sunday's action. But Sunday evening session is where we'll be concentrating our efforts, because there is 3 absolute crackers to get stuck into, and ones that I know Pieman and myself are looking forward to. So I'll hand you straight over to the main man, Matt Pieman Hill.
Cheers, Adam. Yeah, we'll just have a quick run through. We have actually had a withdrawal, unfortunately, as well from the tournament in the last hour. Martijn Kleermaker, the Dutchman, who I'd given a lot of credit to, and I was really looking forward to watching him. He's pulled out with a positive COVID test in the last hour, so that's a walkover for Cameron Carillison. That match was meant to be taking place tonight, so we are down to a 3-game schedule this evening. This afternoon's action already underway with Tel Neckers and Nick Kenny playing now, but we will just touch on the afternoon. But obviously, as you say, focus on the evening. I think first things first. Let's just take a look back on yesterday. Started off with Steve Lennon's win over Larsen, the Swede. It was impressive here, 97 average. Could have been even higher considering he was only 30-something% on his doubling. Larsen's finishing kept him in the game and made it look tighter than it really was. But only a second win at the Ali Pali for Steve Lennon. He had beaten James Bailey back in 2018, but he's through to the second round where he'll play Devon Peterson on Tuesday evening. If he plays like that, 97 average, it'll be a tricky opener for Devon, but Devon Peterson will be a worthy favourite after the year he's had. Then we had Scott Waite and Matt Campbell in what has got to be one of the games of the first round. Absolute cracker. I know you enjoyed this one as well. I flagged it up on the preview. I thought this would be a good match, 2 evenly matched play, and it proved to be the case. But I must say that they both played above the level I anticipated. I can't give them enough credit, really. To average 96 and 95, having played the full 25 legs, all 5 sets went 5 legs. So to maintain that level of average over 25 legs is first class. And you can certainly put Matt Campbell in the category of extremely unlucky losers, which makes sense considering I think you were on him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so he's got to be an unlucky loser.
Yeah, I backed him in play, Matt Campbell. I backed him when it went 1-1 and he was 6-4-ish. So he was still the outsider at 1-1. I thought he looked pretty confident, and he was scoring quite well when he got his first dart in. And then we know what happened. He missed them.
Well, you couldn't really say that Campbell flinched, could you? Because there was clutch finishing from him, a 160, a 152 in the deciding set to go 2-0 up, where he looked home and hosed, to be honest. But credit to Waits to pull up 3 straight legs, 2 of them against the throw, against someone playing well. And then, 2-2 in that last set, 1 off deciding leg. His opponent's got the dart. Scott Waite fires in a 180.
180, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Showed all his experience and all of his class. He plays Nathan Aspinall on Wednesday afternoon. That'll be a good game, that. Really good game. And hopefully Matt Campbell can get a card at Q School. He's going to Q School in January. Looks like he's got all the tools needed. And he is a welder at the moment. He's a part-time darts player, part-time welder. So hopefully he can ditch the welding and just concentrate on his arrows with a bit of luck in January.
Well, that makes it 3 single bets for me so far of the World Championships, 2 of which I've said on here beforehand. But yeah, 3 singles bets, and all 3 have lost. 2 of which are in the agonising status. But we will come on a little bit later on yesterday for another agonising loss, but that was more in the outright category rather than the match. But we'll come on to Mr. Damon Heta.
Yeah, it's a fantastic run of hard luck stories, and long may it continue for you, I suppose.
Yeah.
Kim Huybrechts 3-0 against Zhuang, the Chinese player. We'll just won't touch on this too long because it was a mismatch, but let's give Kim Huybrechts some credit. 104 average, a 9-0 win on the legs. There was no checkout over 81 in this match, surprisingly, which is testament to how he was boxing these legs off, all in sort of 12 to 15 dart leg range, not messing around on his doubles. Don't get me wrong, Zhuang was well out of his depth. The market suggested this. I think Huybrechts went off a 1 to 10 chance or something similar. Huybrechts is very rarely a 1 to 10 chance, let me tell you. He's not a reliable player normally, but we did say Kim Huybrechts showing some good signs in recent weeks and months that he might be getting back to his best, and that definitely looked the case here, I thought. I was impressed with him. He'll.
It's like a practice session, really, for me. And he has dominated. He's put a good average in, but he was never, ever, ever under any threat.
This is the worry. I think if you take the average and you look at it and you say, oh, that must make him your value at 7-5 against Ian White. He's not going to get anything like that level of comfort against Ian White. He's going to be under pressure every single leg. So while I wouldn't strike a line through it, it's definitely encouraging to see him in good form. I wouldn't be using that as a good form barometer for the Ian White game, which will be a totally different set of circumstances. Yeah. Last game of the afternoon, we had Merv King. Everyone had to bow down to the King yet again. He was in excellent nick, beating Max Hopp 3-1. I don't need to go on about how much I love Merv King, but I did think this was impressive. All bias aside, he averaged 105 and change in the first two sets, and he had a 156 to win it 3-0, where he hit treble 20, and missed the double 18. So this could have been 3-0 with a 106 average, and everyone sort of waxing lyrical. So this was a good performance.
I'm worried. I am worried as a Jose de Sousa backer. I am worried about A, the form of Mervyn King, and B, the demeanour and behaviour and experience and tenacity of Mervyn King against Jose de Sousa. That is a cracking game.
I've also put up Jose, so I am rightly concerned. And while I wouldn't be devastated to see Merv win as a big fan of his, I think you've got to be really concerned about the way he's playing. Like, fair play to Max Hopp. He dug in the third set, averaged 100 and something to get it back to 2-1, but King got over the line. He's taking his chances. He's not. He's got his level of aggression just right. That's when you should be worried about Merv King.
Comfortable, confident, and as I've said about other players previously, he just looks dialed into his game. When he's throwing it, it's invariably it's going in. The commentators alluded to that. He just looks very comfortable, content with his game, and I hope for the entertainment factor he can carry that on into the Jose match, because that'll be a cracker.
You want that Jose and Merv game to go 5 sets. You want it to go it's got all the makings of a cracker if they both turn up, and I'm really looking forward to watching it. Could be the best game. One of the best games of the tournament if they both play to their ability. Nico Kurz beat Andy Hamilton 3-1. This was one that I anticipated could go 5 sets on yesterday's show. Definitely looked that way at first. Both the opening sets exchanged, and they both went the full 5 legs. So it had all the makings of a really tight game. The third set was pivotal, however. Andy Hamilton broke in the first leg of the first set, but then put in 3 abysmal legs. Kurz going on to win that set, and then he was able to box it off in the fourth set. But you're looking at the averages 83, 87. Doesn't look like a classic, and it certainly wasn't. But there was sketchy finishing on both sides. I don't think we saw the best of Nico Kurz here. He faces off against his fellow German. So we've already lost Max Hopp. We're going to lose another German tomorrow when Kurz plays Clemens. Kurz a 2-1 chance in that match, largely down to the calibre of his opponent. Gabriel Clemens been one of the most improved players in the darting world in the last 12 months, and he's a rightful favourite. But Kurz will probably feel comfortable playing someone he's probably played many, many times back in Germany, and I'm sure they've practiced together as well. So an interesting match for sure. And if they both play well, they're both heavy scoring players, so it could be a good watch.
Yeah, it looked to me as if Kurz is he felt the pressure a little bit yesterday because he expected himself to win, and I'm guessing his team, if you like, would have expected him to beat Andy Hamilton in what could have been a close game, but he would have gone in expecting to win. Very different attitude tomorrow against Clemens, as you say. He'll definitely be the underdog. Clemens is the established number 1 in Germany at the moment, isn't he? So particularly as Max Hopp continues to flatter to deceive. So yeah, good game in store.
Definitely is, yeah. Then we had Andy Bolton versus Dieter Headman. Dieter defied many pundits' expectations by securing a set in this match, but she did go down 3-1.
I think Pieman predicted she would win a set in our quarter preview with Dieter in there, yeah.
I did, mainly because, without disrespecting Andy Bolton, she could have had a lot worse draws. And I think Andy Bolton was very solid. He averaged 90. So that was enough. Like, Dieter was hovering in the low 70s, and that's a bit of a shame because she can play a lot better than that. But understandably, nerves did play a part for her. The set she won 3-0, and she won it very comfortably. But the other 3 sets she lost 3-0, and she was like readily outplayed. She's achieved her dream of managing to play at the Ali Pali. She may get there again with the the women's qualifier routes where they're trying to get at least 2 female players in every year, something that we've covered in previous videos. But she's timeless, in her 60s. Her last 3 darts of the tournament were a 180, so that was a nice way to bow out. Yeah,
I think that if it wasn't for Fallon Sherrock last year doing what she did, incredible to win 2 games. But if it wasn't for Fallon, then someone might be looking at this guaranteed 2 women in the tournament, because the 2 ladies this year, Headman and Ashton, have got absolutely no way near. Ashton got no way near last year. I know Sherrock did, and the year before that they got no way near as well. So I think this is the 3rd year of women participation. And if it wasn't for Fallon Sherrock, who, to be honest, isn't the best ladies player in the world and never really has been established as that. She played very well at the Worlds last year. She didn't win she didn't qualify this year. She didn't win any major women's tournaments this year. So, I'm not saying she got lucky last year, but she obviously hit a great bit of form, and credit to her. But yeah, this two female competitors guaranteed, it's not gone particularly well this year.
I understand both sides of this argument, and I think there is a discussion to be had. They definitely want to promote women's darts and make sure that more women start playing darts from a younger age, because that is the way that they will close the gap. And there's no reason why female players can't be as good as male players in darts. There's no reason, really. Yeah. But you're definitely right. When a player comes in and averages 70 something, in the same way, the same conversation should be had about the Asian qualifiers with Zhang yesterday averaging 70 something. I know they want to grow the game, but there's players who can average 95, 96 who didn't qualify for this tournament because there was no space.
Well, the likes of Martin Schindler. I was looking the other day to the players that had not qualified, the likes of Schindler, Thornton for different reasons. But yeah, there's some.
Oh, you could list a lot of players.
Yeah, there's a fair few good players out there that are not competing in this tournament.
Yeah, it's difficult and definitely something that I'm sure the PDC are keeping a very close eye on. Then we had an absolutely corking match, penultimate match of yesterday. Damon Heta, one of our outright selections we'd put up as a bit of an outside dark horse. You only need to go back to the quarter 2 preview to see my serious concerns over Danny Baggish coming out of the hat to play Heta in round 1. The American, although we haven't seen a lot of him on British television, he consistently averages in the 90s in America. He could clearly play. He started nervously. Heta missed the dart to win the first set 3-0 and lost it 3-2. So it shows how different this game could have been. Heta wins that set 3-0. Baggish doesn't settle. He probably doesn't play well. Heta probably goes through 3-0, and people say, well, what was all that fuss about with Danny Baggish? As it happened, Baggish did settle. He started to play really well. He showed what he can do. The second set was a tight one as well. The American took out 113 to win that, got 2-0 up. And it looked like the writing was on the wall, but Damon Heta pulled out checkouts of 146, 81, and then a 160 to win the third set. Won the fourth set 3-0 to level the match up, and looked like for all the world he was going to go on and win it. And then we had that crazy fourth leg in the deciding set where they both missed a hatful of darts. Heta actually missing 5 match darts at double 16 and double 8, which are doubles that, you would expect him to nail in 1 or 2, never mind 5. Baggish was also having trouble on 10s, 5s, 2s, 1s. It was a real mess of a leg. And you did kind of get the feeling that whoever won that leg would probably win the decider, just because it was such a pivotal moment. Baggish won it and then did win the decider, although it must be said, Heta missed another match dart in the decider. He tried to go double-double with his last 2 darts, hit the double 18, wired the double top, would have been a great way to win it. Baggish nicked it. A great match. The American, I thought, he got probably the toughest draw he could have got, and he won. So fair play to him. But what might have been for Damon Heta. Baggish will be a 5-2 chance against Adrian Lewis on Tuesday. Sure, he'll have his takers. Who knows? I would fancy Eddie Lewis to get past him, but he's a danger man for sure.
I can only be disappointed in Heta, to be honest, because there was a bit of talk about him, and he was only quite new to my radar, even though I backed him. He was only quite new to my radar, but I can only be disappointed. Like you say, he's missed 5 or 6 match darts. The first 2 sets, it was it wasn't flowing for him, and then he's come out for the third set and actually lost the first leg in the third set. And I said to you, the writing's on the wall here. He ain't winning this. And then is it that 1-4-6, and it was just switched like a light. And his action was there. The treble 20s were going in. I mean, he was having legs before that of like, I think he had when he was throwing for the match. Correct me if I'm wrong. He had like a 59, a 40, a 45, a 57, and it was thrown for the match, and he still had a to win it in that set, in that leg. I think he put in an absolutely shocking leg. But what I would say about Baggish is that he's going to plod along at the same pace. He's playing within himself, and that's that could bother a player like Adrian Lewis. It obviously bothered Heta. He's not interested in what the opponent's doing really. He's just plodding along at his own pace and his own standard. I thought it was a fair enough win for Baggish, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you make a good point about Baggish and his playing style. That probably stems from playing in America, where he knows if he plays his own game, he's going to win 99% of matches against the caliber of opponent he's facing there. And it holds you in good stead when you're playing a player more fancied than you, because you just concentrate on yourself. And if they have any dips, like you say, Heta's slow start cost him. And that was the only reason that he didn't get through. Yes, he missed the match starts, but that can happen. He's not greatly experienced in these kind of situations himself, and I saw nothing to worry me in defeat for Damon Heta. I think he'll make major semi-finals and finals next year if he continues at his current rate of progression. I saw nothing wrong, and the price will remain there because of this, so that's a positive to take out of it for Heta fans, I suppose. Final game of the night, what a performance from Michael van Gerwen. 109 average. We knew he was going to try and lay down a marker in this match, and he did. To be honest, he needed to be that good. Ryan Murray played really, really well, averaged about a ton himself. The thing that Ryan Murray was doing, it just shows the intricacies of set play for me. When van Gerwen had the throw in the set, he was getting wiped 3-0 and it looked like a no contest. But the sets that Murray threw first, he was just making sure he held his throw by any means necessary. He held 3 times to level the match at 1-1, lost the next set, and then he held, and he had a dart to actually take this match into a deciding set. Now, van Gerwen was brilliant. He didn't deserve to go to a deciding set. He deserved to win it 3-0, in all honesty. But that just shows in set play, you can. I think there was another match yesterday. I think it might have been Heta versus Baggish, where the loser of the match actually won more legs.
Heta won more legs than Danny Baggish yesterday and lost the match, and he had a high average and lost more legs. More legs. It
just shows if you can the importance of momentum and timing. If you can time your good legs at the right moments, you can get chances in games that you have really no right to have a chance in. But very ominous, I think you put it perfectly. Yeah. Ominous signs for the rest of the field. Van Gerwen looking closer and closer to his best. Yes, it's perhaps less pressure on him. We've seen sometimes the problem with van Gerwen this year has been when the pressure has been constantly applied to him, he's buckled in the big moments. And he never really got under serious pressure against Ryan Murray. He was playing within himself. But it was only once I noted that he chased the doubles round where he had a couple of visits of missed doubles. That only happened to him once. So that's an improvement on what we've seen previously against the likes of Whitlock. Like you say, he was pretty much within himself. But I think he's got, and I said before, I think he's got an easy draw in his quarter. Vandenberg's the best player that he can meet in the quarter final. Ominous is the only word I could put to it. But the one thing you would say is that should he meet Vandenberg, we should say, not when he meets, should he meet Vandenberg, that will be a big step up on what he's had to that point. And Dimitri won't be overwhelmed or overawed by his 180 hitting, because he can do the 180 hitting with the best of them. So we're all kind of hoping for that quarterfinal, because it just seems like it would be absolute fireworks. But yeah, very impressive. And final word to Ryan Murray, who can take that performance into 2021. If he can start churning them out a bit more regularly, he'll fly up the rankings. So that does bring us on to today. And of course, I think we're actually filming now with is it Tel Meckers and Nick Kenny playing? Yeah. Just a quick mention for the match after that, which is Jason Lowe versus Dimitri Gorbanov. That is the last runner of the 3-0 multi that was advised. It's been a great success, really. We've had 3 winners. We've had 1 loser, which was Cannon Ridge winning 3-1. Very frustrating. And then we've had the Void this morning with Claymaker, which is a shame, obviously. So what was trebles and up will become doubles and up because of that Void leg. So hopefully everyone, all none of you that followed it are in profit, and hopefully Jason Lowe can finish off Gorbanov.
It'd be a nice return if Jason Lowe wins 3-0 in the next hour or so. Yeah.
Certainly would. And then just to quickly touch on the other two matches from this afternoon, although viewers will probably have seen these matches before I start talking about them. Matt Edgar, the Edgar Nation, will be cheering him on. He's playing Kyvenhoven. He's a slight favourite, Edgar. I just wonder if that's based on his fans backing him, because these two players in pretty dreadful form, to be honest. Edgar really pulled it out of the fire at the last-ditch qualifier to get in because he'd been awful this year, to be honest. Hope he could win. Good luck to him. And Van der Voort versus Meulenkamp. Well, I think we were both hoping this was going to be Van der Voort versus Boris Kirchmer, but
yeah, we was.
We know how that went. And as it goes, I would quite fancy Vincent to be quite comfortable in playing Meulenkamp, a countryman who he'll have faced many times, and he probably knows he's got the better game. But Meulenkamp will enter that game with confidence after that performance against Kirchner, as he should. I don't have a strong opinion on that match. Gun to the head, I would go with Van der Voort, but I wouldn't be that surprised at an upset. And
he's
then
8-13, Van der Voort. I'd be looking at the 3-1, to be honest with you, Van der Voort, in Van der Voort's favour.
I think that's about on the money, to be honest. Then, as you say, just before we talk a little bit about the evening, Claymaker's game is called off. Cameron Carillison has a walkover due to his opponent contracted coronavirus, and he will face Danny Noppert in round 2. So I'm sure the South African wasn't expected to get to round 2. So, enjoy it.
And then the evening session, as you say, Pieman, has got to get him a couple of right good ones in there. I'll leave Keegan Brown and Ryan Meikle to you for a minute, but Jeffrey De Zwaan, Ryan Searle's the best game of the evening for me. It was pretty much a coin toss. There has been a little bit of money support for Ryan Searle, so he is going to go off a clear favourite. When the book opened, it was a coin toss game. So Jeffrey, erratic, fast, chases his doubles around the board against Ryan Searle, who we put up beforehand, averaged 98 in his first round game in a very, probably the best we've ever seen him on TV. I would go as far to say that.
It'll be close to his best, definitely.
He's going to have to replicate, if not better, that this evening. I think a replica of that, an average of 98, will put Jeffrey De Zwaan under all sorts of trouble. So, I'm looking forward to seeing that game, and good luck to Searle because we're on him. But Keegan Brown and Ryan Meikle will now open the night in a 3-game evening session. I know you've got a big interest in that one, Pieman.
Yeah, I quite like Ryan Meikle to beat Keegan Brown, and this is not anything against Keegan Brown, a player that I like. I feel like he's probably underachieved in his career to date because he's definitely got talent. But Keegan Brown, there's extenuating circumstances for this. He works in the NHS alongside his darts, and he received a bit of press in April for doubling his NHS shifts and effectively ditching his darts for a few months to help out. That does seem to have affected his form. Obviously, he'll be looking forward to the Worlds, and he has had some good performances here, but I just think a year like that could take its toll. He's playing a player on the rise here in Meikle, and providing that Ryan Meikle can replicate the level of performance he's shown in the last couple of TV appearances, I think he might have too much for Brown. I'm a little bit surprised he's still the underdog. So I would probably edge towards Meikle, but it's nothing against Keegan Brown. Fair play to him for everything he's done, and it wouldn't be bad to see him win. Just want to quickly touch on what you said there about Searle versus De Zwaan. Totally agree with you. Game of the night could go any which way, and I wouldn't be that surprised. But one thing I would say, Jeffrey De Zwaan, if he doesn't, I think the reason Searle's going to go for favourite is not necessarily because he's a better player, but he's more reliable. If Jeffrey doesn't play well in the first set, he can down tool sometimes. He's a bit of a moody sort. When he's firing, the 180s are going in. He's glorious to watch. One of my favourite players to watch when he's on form. But he's definitely not one to be relied on too strongly. He hasn't had a great season. And whereas Searle, he's the complete opposite of that. He has had a great season. He's consistently performed. He was excellent in his first match. And you know what he's going to bring to the table. He's not going to get flustered. He'll keep averaging sort of mid to high 90s. So Jeffrey has got to be right at it to beat Searle tonight. And if you trusting one of them to perform, it will definitely be Searle. But I like Jeffrey. I can't help but hope that he plays his best, because it's good for darts if he plays well. Last game of the night to touch on, Johnny Clayton versus not so big John Henderson. We've always been very clear with our dismay on John Henderson's weight loss.
Yeah.
Look, it's great for his health, but it's not been great for his game. His first round win over Marco Cantele was littered with some of the worst doubling you'll see at the Ali Pali. I think he missed getting on for 30 darts at a double in that match, and that was not against a good caliber of opponent. Johnny Clayton won't let him get away with anything near that. Hendo's doubling is going to have to improve 3 or 4 times to get competitive here with Johnny Clayton. Because Clayton won't be overwhelmed by Hendo's 180 scoring and 140 scoring. He can do that as well. But Clayton's a very reliable finisher. And someone we both give a strong write-up to before the tournament. And the thing about Johnny Clayton, your possible flaw you could pick out on him is when he plays the big players, he can be a little bit overawed and a little bit in awe of them. But I don't think he'll have that against John Henderson. He'll come out, play his game, and unless Hendo improves massively, it'll be too much for the Highlander.
I think if Clayton throws first, he will win this game 3-0. We'll obviously know that close to the time. He's 11-4 to win 3-0. So there's a couple of fancies in there today, really, for us. I know the Pieman's on Jason Lowe to win 3-0 against Dimitri Gorbanov. So that's one bet there.
For the multis, yeah.
Yeah, I think Van der Voort possibly 3-1 would be my kind of thinking there. You like Ryan Meikle at even money. I like Searle at he's odds on now. Searle, he's about 8-11, and then Johnny Clayton, if he throws first, 11-4 for 3-0.
I'll follow you in there, Adam. Actually, I'll give my stamp of approval to 3-0 Clayton.
Yeah, you're the king of the 3-0s. Yeah,
I like Hendo. I absolutely love him to bits, but I also like Johnny Clayton, and it's chalk and cheese their form at the moment. So yeah, Clayton, as you say, the throw will help, but even without the throw, you wouldn't rule it out because Hendo's doubling atrocious.
Yep. Yeah, okay, so thanks for joining us today, and we're a little bit later today, but we'll get it out as soon as possible, and we'll be back tomorrow. There's only, actually, I'm just looking at the schedule, sorry, before we shoot, there's only an evening session only on Monday, according to Oddschecker. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pieman.
On the spot, I couldn't possibly tell you either way, to be honest, but
I think
we will get that confirmed for you.
It's evening session only on Monday. I don't know why. And then Tuesday and Wednesday are afternoon, back to afternoon and evening. I don't know why. Maybe a little rick in the system there. But yeah, we'll confirm that and we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.